Welcome back to my channel Knowledge Chronicle.
Have you ever wondered how the oxygen you breathe reaches every tiny cell in your body? Or how carbon dioxide, the waste gas, is carried back to your lungs to be exhaled? This fascinating journey happens inside your blood, powered by a brilliant transport system. Stay with me as we explore the science behind how our body moves gases like oxygen and carbon dioxide. Let's dive into the transport of gases, the incredible mechanism that keeps us alive every second. Blood is the ultimate delivery system in our body. It carries both oxygen and carbon dioxide efficiently using specialized cells and chemical reactions. But how does this happen? Oxygen, the fuel of life, is mostly carried by a special protein in red blood cells called hemoglobin. In fact, about 97% of oxygen in our blood is bound to hemoglobin, while only 3% dissolves in plasma, the liquid part of blood. How does oxygen bind to hemoglobin? Hemoglobin is an iron-containing red pigment that can hold oxygen in a reversible way. This means it picks up oxygen in one place and releases it in another. Here's how it works. At the lungs, oxygen enters and reaches tiny air sacs called alveoli. Oxygen pressure, or PO2, is high in alveoli, while carbon dioxide pressure, or PCO2, is low. These conditions favor oxygen binding to hemoglobin, forming oxyhemoglobin, or HbO2. This oxygen-rich blood is now ready to be transported to tissues. At the tissues, cells constantly use oxygen for energy production, which lowers PO2 and increases PCO2. High carbon dioxide levels, acidity, and temperature force hemoglobin to release oxygen. This ensures that tissues receive the oxygen they need. When we plot the percentage of hemoglobin saturation against PO2, we get an S-shaped curve called the oxygen dissociation curve. This graph helps us understand how easily hemoglobin picks up and releases oxygen. Ever noticed how breathing feels harder at high altitudes? That's because oxygen pressure is lower, making it harder for hemoglobin to bind oxygen efficiently. Each hemoglobin molecule can carry up to 4 oxygen molecules, making it a powerful oxygen transporter. Now that we've delivered oxygen, let's talk about getting rid of the waste, carbon dioxide or CO2. Cells continuously produce CO2 as a byproduct of metabolism. This gas needs to be transported back to the lungs efficiently. But unlike oxygen, which binds mostly to hemoglobin, CO2 is transported in 3 different ways. First, as bicarbonate ions, or HCO3, which accounts for 70% of CO2 transport. The majority of CO2 reacts with water, H2O, inside red blood cells to form carbonic acid, H2CO3. This reaction is catalyzed by an enzyme called carbonic anhydrase. Carbonic acid quickly breaks down into bicarbonate, HCO3, and hydrogen ions, H+. Bicarbonate then travels in plasma to the lungs, where the reaction reverses to release CO2 for exhalation. Second, CO2 can also attach directly to hemoglobin, forming carbaminohemoglobin, or HbCO2. This accounts for about 20 to 25% of CO2 transport. This happens at the tissues, where CO2 levels are high. At the lungs, CO2 detaches and is exhaled. About 7% of carbon dioxide in the blood is dissolved directly in the plasma. This small portion of CO2 travels through our bloodstream and is eventually carried to the lungs. This reaction explains why holding your breath for too long makes you feel the urge to exhale. Your body wants to get rid of excess carbon dioxide. The perfect transport system. This entire process of oxygen binding, transport, and release, along with carbon dioxide removal, ensures that our body maintains perfect gas balance. Oxygen is delivered where it's needed. Carbon dioxide is removed efficiently. Everything is controlled by pressure, pH, and temperature. Next time you take a deep breath, remember, your body is working tirelessly to fuel every cell and remove waste in the most efficient way possible. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us bring more valuable content your way. What topic should we cover next? Comment below. Your one like, share, and subscribe will help us create more valuable content.